landscape of Scotland. And over the past 48 hours, or 24 hours anyway, we've had extreme rainstorms and even thunderstorms. And today there is a chance of that and a threat of that. So today I'm basically just out for a wee adventure, various little locations. The first one being this area here at Gael-la-Brig, because I can't believe how high the river has risen here in the last couple of days. Literally a few days ago you could walk about down there and it was about a metre lower, probably a metre and a half lower, and it's just risen up so quick. This is a cool bit at Gael-la-Brig here in the Angus Glens, and there's actually a cool picnic area and an area you can park up. There did used to be an old stone bridge, like a sandstone bridge at the far side, but it got into a condition that was like so far gone that it got demolished. And then this one was obviously built at a later date. But I remember when the old bridge used to actually stand. I can see cows grazing at the far side. They're actually running, I'm not sure what they're doing. They're running about in the far field there, and aye, the land's is mental. Maybe we should have a look over. We'll have a look up the glen, folks. Glen Clova, one of the coolest Angus Glens. And look, the sign here. Gael-la-Brig. It tells you a few things about the animals and things that you get in this river. Atlantic salmon, you get birds like curlews, but it says you also get freshwater pearl mussels, so that's interesting. That's a few little knick-knacks of the countryside right there. Let's push up here and have a look. There's little birds just flying right past. It's all going on in the lands of Glen Clova. And I've been up here a few times on videos over the years. Recently the rivers and stuff's been so low, but it's been a while since I've actually stopped here. This is where the old main road used to actually go across. Nowadays hardly any remains of that ancient history here in the glen. Yeah, and check that out there. That's obviously the view. Whoa, I nearly fell off. I was trying to stand up on top of this to get the shots, folks. Once I get my balance I'm alright. Whoa, look at this. There's another car park at the far side. You see here the old and modern Gael-la-Brig. What a cool wee spot to start the video. It's mad to see it. The river's up at just almost field height, and if there's any more rain it can actually get higher. And even the area that I'm parked at the far side, it can actually get flooded out, and I've seen the water right up in the car park. So it's a crazy land. Sometimes as well it can rain miles away, further away than what we can see, and it causes the river here to rise like so quick. And that happens at a lot of Scottish rivers. People can get caught out if they're down near the river and then the high waters come down the way. Yeah, what a madness, folks. Anyway, let's go to another wee location in this video. It's going to be a short, fun wee video today, just poking about different locations and seeing what we get into. Another point I'll make while I'm still at the Gael-la-Brig as well. This is the river South Esk here that flows down Glen Clova, and this goes all the way through the lands of Angus and the lower lands there, all the way out through Brechin and then towards the Montrose Basin. It flows right in through the Montrose Basin. But there's actually two rivers in Scotland, the North Esk and the South Esk, and they basically go out one each side of Montrose, the Scottish town. So there's an interesting fact about this. The river South Esk. Look at this, folks. On my car tyre, I've still not left Gael-la-Brig yet. But look at this. When did he even get there? How did he get there? Like, I've literally been driving up this road for miles and there's a snail on my tyre, and that's... like, what is even going on? It looks like he's landed from the sky. There's no even a sign of his trail until he got to that particular point on my tyre. Whoa, this beast's fleeing about. I need to get him off my tyre. I'll flick him with my foot. There he is. He's safe. Check it out, folks. Sheep here in their natural habitat. But a crazy thing that I noticed, this is why I've pulled the car in. Check this out over here. Look, the actual whole area is flooded, and this is what I say, it can change so fast in no time at all. If you consider how it was in the last few weeks on our videos, we've been out in the heat waves and the crazy conditions, and then now the glen is just so different. You hear the water flowing in the background because it's coming down off the higher hills and stuff. that's crazy. This whole field here is flooded all the way around, and there's loads of glen clover like this. I've basically, since the last clip on the video, gone all the way around the glen on the road, right up round the top, and then I thought, when I saw this again, I thought I need to pull in, because there is various spots where it's flooded, but there's not always an ideal place to get the shot. But yeah, what a landscape, folks. Glen clover now, the purple, the heather's pure purple on the hill up here, and the character of Scotland at this time of year is incredible. It's quite hard to explore often because things are so overgrown, but when you come out often on a wee adventure, it's a bit of fun. Yeah, recently we saw the sheep and stuff in the Kerry show video. They were all cooped up in their pens, but this is what they look like in their natural environment out here in Scotland, eating the fresh grass. Anyway, on to the next spot in this video, folks. You know how it is. Check it out, folks. Look at this mad bit of the river here. I had to pull the car in once again. You can't even believe that the River South Esk is actually over there. You would think it's just shallow water on the grass, and if you tried to walk across, you'd go boom down into the deep river. Look at that for a scene. The amount of water from here to where the river actually is at the far side, it's just crazy. There's actually ducks and stuff kicking about, but yeah, that's mad. That shows how the River South Esk and stuff can swell so much. Doesn't it take long, one day or whatever of heavy rain like that in the high glen, especially after it's been dry and the ground's hard, often the water can run off super fast. And from this area here, it's just flowing in all directions round here. The whole glen's just like that today, and it's cool to capture it on video. It's cool to show people all over the world often the cool areas in Scotland and the way it can just look on a day like this. It's cool because it's not actually raining just now as well. I'm not even sure where I'm going next. There's a lot of little Angus Glens and stuff, but it's just finding a wee adventure along the way. It'd be cool to see some little historical wonder on this video as well. So who knows what we're about to get into, folks. Let's get into more action. Check out, folks, I'm now on an afternoon adventure. I was back home again, and now I've come back out for a secondary wee mission, and I just kind of pulled in at the roadside here at Montrein Forest. Look how overgrown these forests are at this time of the year. In the winter I enjoy a good long walk through some of the paths in places like this. Yeah, it's just truly like a jungle at this time of year. But anyway, I was going to tell you a mad story. It was like I was going along the road the other day when I was coming back from oozing, and literally my window was only open a tiny little bit, like it is just now, on the car. And there was this massive bang when I was going along the road. This is like story time with BKR right here. But yeah, I was just driving along, and then this massive bang, and you wouldn't even believe it. A bird had absolutely hit the car here at this angle. And I just didn't even see where it had gone. It happened so fast, but I knew it had come in, because I've literally got the cap hangs up here on the hook. I've always got a spare hat or different hats with me, so like I knew straight away that the bird or whatever it was inside the car, because the hat had been knocked off the hook. And then I searched around and finally I saw it. The little bird was just stuck in the car. It was totally dead, but it was right over at the far door, so luckily I was able just to flick it with a bit of cardboard out onto the ground. But they say that's bad luck. But instantly I had the bad luck from the situation, because when I sat back into the car, I felt a nip on the side of my head, and I looked in the mirror, and here was a black bee-like creature here stinging the side of my head. And literally it was sitting on my hair, so I didn't feel it, because I need to get a haircut. My hair's quite long, and all that happened within like a 1 minute time window or time frame. It was totally intense, and it was these little mad things do happen often in between the adventure. But it's crazy that it's come in through that tiny gap. This year I've had bees coming in the window, and even a grasshopper at one point landed on the dash. Look at this as well, folks. We've parked for 2 seconds and look at these little creatures running about on the door. They're so small they probably don't even come out on the camera, because the car's got that light colour to it. They've all landed on it as soon as I parked. Yeah, anyway, I'm not even sure where I'm going. I thought about going for a walk into Montrein, but I'm not really sure what there is to see. I'll maybe just head for another little flea in the car and see where I end up. Check out, folks, how does this look for an abandoned scene of Scotland? I've not been here for years. old time viewers of the channel, shout out. You may remember this. It's probably been a couple of years at least since I've been here. So let's go and look at the condition of this old abandoned church. Look at the old postbox GR. Wow, let's take a look at the cemetery. I believe there's a war memorial and stuff here as well, which is cool. Yeah, look at the old cast iron work. Wow, what a scene, folks. Look how it's overgrown with the bushes. It does have incredible stained glass windows as well. Look at this. This is the names of the people from this parish who lost their lives in the war. It's cool to record them. Often as I go past these on my adventures, I just like throwing the camera on and sharing them, because sometimes there could be relations all over the world who maybe know some of these people, or like the families. There could be relations in all countries nowadays. They maybe originated in these areas. Wow, yeah, let's head on round, folks. There's cool old gravestones and things sitting within the long grass. And I think this is still a current burial ground here at this site. It's still really well maintained and kept. But I love the character of this with the bushes and shrubs all over it. Almost looks like it was built in like the 1800s or whatever. Yeah, it's so overgrown. I'm obviously wary of ticks and stuff like this, but I'm sure there used to be a wee door at the side here that you could actually have a look in. Yeah, let's punch on through, folks. Hopefully there's no ticks, but we'll take this risk here to get the footage. Yeah, look at this, the old door. Wow, folks, let's head in. I'm going to take a look here for ticks. The viewers are along on this adventure with me, folks. I'm keeping the camera rolling. Just imagine entering this old place back in the day. Check out that. The old electrical boxes and the light fitting. Even this section of roof, look at the detail on the plaster work here. Obviously nature and wildlife takes over in a place like this after a lot of years. Yeah, look at this here, wow. See what's actually happened, folks, since the last time I was here. So much more of this roof has fallen down. Look at it, with the weight of the pigeon droppings. All this area here. There's actually a stone inscription there at the side. I'm not even going to risk like going into that, because that could fall on your head at any moment. But look, we can document it from here. You get an idea of the original paintwork. Wow, folks, this is crazy. Look at that spider web down there. Look at the colour of this. Oh, that's such a shame. Look, the roof and stuff's actually landed and hit the window. Yeah, the stone inscriptions here are incredible. Look at the character of it with the window at the far end, and the roof is actually leaning further and further down. I'm keeping my voice down because there's obviously houses and stuff around here. But also, if you're speaking loud, you can actually cause buildings to fall down. Yeah, look at this, folks, I'm not even sure. Oh, folks, it's eerie. It is eerie, like somebody's been having a party in here. I think it's looked like this for a long time. Here, I heard a noise there as if it was rats or whatever squeaking, and this will be just such a habitat for that sort of thing. What a cool wee adventure though. Look, there's even stone inscriptions of some sort here. It would be amazing to see a date on this. Sometimes it's quite hard. Often on the video when you watch it back it's easier to see. Wow, there's so many bees and wasps and beasts. That's this time of year. It's quite difficult to go on madnesses, but as you've seen for this video, we just pop all over the map, seeing cool little things along the way. Look at the classic door handle. But I think this door's been open for a lot of years. Obviously the roof is completely missing, but there is still some details here that's amazing to see, like the carved stonework inlaid directly to the building. Yeah, let's punch back across here. Wow, what a madness. Obviously this time of year you can see the grass. It's literally waist height as I walk through it. And that's the reason, if you're walking through stuff like that and there is ticks, you just get absolutely covered in them nowadays. Check this out, what a scene from here. It was a cool thing to stick the head in the door and see that bit of history as well. It's always such a wee mixture of things, and even the local areas. As I look up this way, this is actually the World War II canal airfield over here, which I've documented in the past. And a cool thing, there's still actually the air traffic control tower and things, but the old runway, you can still see the scar on the land. It's now like a private yard, and I think there's some sheds and stuff built on it, but the old runway and stuff is still there on the land. And the old air traffic control tower from the RAF in World War II. Amazing to see. Yeah, some of the older burials and graves here are actually within the longer grass, and that gives it an excellent character as well. It's like a different character. Whoa, there's so many beasties. I've been bitten by like a crazy black fly recently, so I'm more cautious as I walk round. Sometimes you didn't see them landing. Look, it's had like maybe a bell tower up there or a higher window, and then there's been another circular, cool designed window below it. And then look at these gravestones, eh? They're all just growing into the craziest of overgrown wildernesses at this time of year. Wow, look at this, 1774. So this has probably been on the go here since the 1700s, rather than, like I said, the 1800s when I first came here. Yeah, look, 17. I think that says 55. So that's cool as well in the video, folks. We're piecing it together, 1700s. And the cool thing with this one, we were actually able to have a proper look inside the location. Obviously with respect to like the landowners and things. Yeah, look, there's an old burial here, which is a super cool one. Yeah, the grass has been cut right round. Look at this one here, folks. It's got like an old iron and a pair of scissors. Oh, and it's like this one's been painted. This is the cool history, the wee nuggets, folks, we love it. This is more recent, 1963. And look at this, the old doorway here into the church. And this side of it has got even more character. I can actually see wasps and things flying around here, that's why I'm not just pushing through. Wow, I hate it when the wasps and things like fly into your head or fly around you, because they're unpredictable, they just sting you non-stop. I have been stung a fair old bit by the wasps over the years, from standing on their bikes and things like that in the ground. And yeah, look at the willow herb scene. What a madness, folks. Anyway, I wonder where I'm going to go next on this crazy wee adventure. I'm just adding loads of clips together today from random little places, all the way from the floods in the high glen there of Glen Clova, down to areas like this, Lowland Angus Canal, and the old canal airfield as well in the distance, as well as the local church. And it's sad to see how poor the roof condition is nowadays compared to how it was even a few years ago. The more time until these places get saved, again, the more degraded they become so fast. Anyway, let's punch on out of this place, folks, and on to the next bit of this video. Look at this, folks, next to the abandoned church is this old abandoned gate. It's like there's been a walkway up here at a certain time along by the dike line. Maybe an old access way for the people going to the church back in the day when it was still on the go. Yeah, that's cool. You can actually see the church from miles away when you're driving around these lands. But I've not been for so long, I had no idea what condition it would be in or anything like that. But yeah, when I noticed that wee gate, I thought I'll throw the camera back on and just document it. So check it out, folks, for the final segment of tonight's video. This is actually just about tea time, I'd say. It's just about 5 PM and you can actually see there's a Misty Harbour, probably about 1k out to the sea there. And yeah, you could call it fog, but in Scotland here we call that a har. And tonight you can see it, the har's actually out over the sea. But further south at Lunan Bay, I was actually driving around that area after the last few clips, and the har is actually well inland. So I was actually debating on whether or not to put my coat on, because see, when the har comes in, the sunshine disappears and it's a crazy environment, but I've just risked it for this final section. I'm basically away to find a cool bit to chill out, see if there's any cool areas down here at the coast to look at the waves, because tonight there is some amazing waves ripping in the cove here down at the mouth of Montrein Harbour. So yeah, let's get into action, folks. I'll update you once I find a cool area. Look at this, folks, there's a little natural waterfall here coming down the land, down to the little rock pools at the seaside. And it's crazy to think this would normally just be flowing into the sea when the tide's in away up here, but when the tide's out there's a cool wee waterfall. And this is a mad area with the noise of the sea roaring in the background. Look at this, you can actually see how the Har is coming inland now at this point. It's almost like a wall of cloud up at the far side. And I'm telling you, it's so humid today. It's like 21 degrees Celsius and there's hardly a breeze. But yeah, we're out here once again, going to all these cool wee locations. You know how it is, folks. As I was driving from the abandoned church that we saw in this video to here, I could just see like the wall of cloud. But if I had gone to like Lunan Bay and up that area, I would have already been walking in the cloud, and that's why I chose to come back to this spot. It is quite a nice place to come and just find a wee area to chill out, especially on a day like today when the temperatures are soaring. So I was just heading up past this cottage to my spot, and there was a loud bang from the sea, or a loud noise. It must have been the way the waves struck the shore, and I got such a fright. So I turned around and looked. But when I turned back, I got an equal fright, folks. Look at it down here. I think it's like a baby hare, see, between the rocks. But I think it's actually got potentially myxomatosis where it can't see. Check it out though. I'm just going to obviously move on and leave it as it is sitting there. I think some rabbits in that can actually like overcome myxomatosis nowadays, so you are better just leaving them as they are if they can survive in nature. That one's sitting down between the rocks in such an unusual place. There is grass and stuff nearby it though, so it can get a feed. And I'm not going to intervene in nature at a time like that, but what a fright I got when I turned back around and seen the wee rabbit right in front of me. I thought I need to click record on the camera, and I'm just basically going to this area here. I'm pretty much at my chill out area, and you can see we're at the edge of the Har here, and you can kind of see it disappearing up. The coast just disappears into that cloud line, which is kind of 1 kilometre, I would say, circumference. It's a bit clearer behind me, further north in Scotland there. But yeah, I'm not going too far down into the cloud, because it actually gets more humid often in a situation like that. So this is one of my favourite bits to come to down here at the coast, folks, because you can actually come down to sea level. It's an incredible scene. Yeah, look at this, we're actually down here at sea level, folks, and you can see the waves ripping into this area. It's like the Grand Canyon or something, a tiny version of it here, carved from the sea. And often in these rock pools and things, you get mad animals like the crabs and the wee fish, and even the jellyfish like we've seen kicking about. And I think the last time I was here, I think when I was here a few videos ago, it was like the tide was actually up here and there was jellyfish around this area. It's crazy to see it, like the water's surging in here to this area. I'm not sure, but I think the tide is coming in with big rippers of waves. And look at this, the anemones have closed up because they're below the water level. Yeah, I need to watch out for big waves ripping into this cove. I can guarantee there'll be crabs and stuff kicking about in these rock pools. So the other cool thing that I like about this spot, especially when the sea's clear like this, it's like going to an aquarium, because you can literally just like look down into the water, and often you just see so many animals and creatures. Even when it's so ferocious just over there, the water here is so clear and smooth. That's why I came to this spot tonight, to chill out on the videos We've come basically to the edge of the Har, and whoa, it is getting more ferocious in this area. Pretty soon the tide will come in and it'll cover all these rocks. What a madness, folks. I've not been down to the coast when it's been choppy for a long time. Wow, what a scene of Scotland. I could just look at this all night and look at the waves and stuff like that. I just love going to the coast. And this is one of my favourite areas to come and chill out. As my long-term viewers of the channel know, I've obviously had a few locations on tonight's video, but to hear the final scenes here down at the coast, I just love it. It's such a variation of landscapes and history on this channel that I just love to keep sharing it video on video. Anyway, I'm going to end this one here, folks. You know how it is. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you very soon with the next one, wherever I end up going.